Hello everyone and welcome back to Call Sign Trolley Models for part 15 of the HPH Models 132nd PBY Catalina. And today we are going to finally start getting some paint down on the fuselage. I got it all primed, we got the aluminum base coat on, and then I also sprayed the chipping fluid on it last night. So, because we're going to be chipping the bottom water line on the bottom of the hull or the fuselage. So, that being said, we're going to be getting to the paint booth right now, straight to the paint booth today. And we're going to be doing multiple different shades of black to add some tonal variation to the black cat right there. So, with that being said, let's get right down to the paint booth. So I'll see you in 1 second. Alright, so we are in the paint booth. First, for the shading, we're going to start using a MRP haze gray to lighten up the black base of the black primer. Now I started off with going panel by panel, but a little bit later on you'll see I start doing the squiggly lines. I'm really not a fan of just doing panels for the pre-shading. I prefer going just all over the place because it doesn't give that checkerboard look like you can get if you do the panel lines like so. So I'm just going in and doing it, and as we go, like right about here is when I start doing just the squiggly lines. Now I'm also staying away from the aluminum base coat that I have for the chipping because I don't want anything to interfere with the chipping when I do that. So we're going to be getting the rest of the fuselage done right here, doing the squiggly lines all over. Then we're going to be doing multiple shades of black after this and filling this in to give the marbling look on the fuselage. And you're going to see how it's going to turn out at the very end of the video. And you saw it in the thumbnail to this video as well. So I'm really happy with the way this turned out. Black is not an easy color to paint an aircraft or anything because if you just paint it straight black, it just looks like it's flat black. It doesn't look like there's been any weathering or getting beat down by the sun because, as you know, black attracts the sun the most. So there's going to be the most fading and everything to a black painted fuselage versus a green or gray or anything like that. So we're going through and just going through on here, doing the same thing. This is the pre-shading. Now after everything is said and done, after decals and all that, we're going to go and do some post-shading as well. And then we're also going to go in and do oils and a few other things to really make this aircraft look kind of beat down by the sun, being in the Pacific and everything. There are a few ghost seams on this fuselage that now that I'm starting to see. Alright, so we're starting to do our first black color. We're using the MRP tire rubber, and then again just going over squiggly lines, no uniform to it or anything like that, just going over all over the place and just going crazy with the lines. Again, staying away from the aluminum coat. Alright, now we get the repeat for the other side. Alright, so the other side is done. Now we are going with our second color of NATO Black from MRP. Again, same thing, squiggly lines all over the place, really adding that marbling effect, and also a couple different shades of black undercoat for the main coat, which will be coming up here in just a little bit. We're going to flip it over and do the other side real quick. This one didn't take too long because I wasn't going full coverage on this. I just wanted to add a few areas of coverage with the NATO black here. Now we got to paint the underside. Underside I am not really too worried about on the fuselage because you're really not going to be able to see much of it. This part you'll be able to see, but the actual part of the boat portion you will not be able to see because it's going to be underwater. Alright, so our main coat is the MRP Jet Black. Just going over and misting over. I don't want full coverage. I don't want to hide all the work that has gone in before. So we're doing light coats. As you can see right here, you can still kind of see it, the marble effect underneath of it, but when it dries you can really still see it through there. So, and then now we can cover up all the aluminum that we painted on earlier with the primer and the chipping fluid from AK, and get the other side done as well. Can't forget the nose of the aircraft. And then again, light mist over just to kind of fill in all of that. And the different shades are going to give a difference in the final tone of the overall paint. Alright, so starting with the chipping fluid on the top, decided to chip this area because the maintenance guys and the crews would be walking on here while they're going out and doing work on the engines and such. And now we're going to be chipping the water line just right here. I got an old toothbrush. I cut down the bristles so they're pretty stiff on the bristle, and I'm just tapping them to get that chipping effect. I'm not brushing or anything like that. I'm tapping it to get that chipping effect on there, and then moving a little bit farther up, a little bit of chipping but not much. And then the same thing with the back section as well, with all the water that's going to be passing through there while they're taking off and landing. It's going to get pretty beat up right there, and this is going to be an area that will be visible on the water line. Trying to check off the work. And then back here, alright, we're doing the same thing with the lower hull or fuselage right here. And then I'm going to move into this back blister. There's a connection point for the boarding ladder that goes back there. So I want to do a little bit of chipping back here from people putting on the ladder or stepping off, or the ladder rubbing up against the hull. Alright, so now we're moving on to masking off the mission markings and the national insignia. I had a friend, actually the same friend that did the 3D printing for the eyeball turret, was the one that was able to do these masks for me. And then we're also using the mask for the national insignia that come with the kit. So vinyl mask, and for some reason it did not really want to fold or conform to the fuselage, so I did need to grab my scissors and do a few little cuts to help it form into place right here. Just doing a couple cuts just to help it really stick down and bend to the fuselage and the windshield and all that going on. Then we're going to repeat for the other side, And then we have the numbers for the back, again made from my buddy with his silhouette cutter. I do need to get me one of those. I did have one, but when I purchased it, I purchased the wrong one. I got the one that was meant for industrial, so it was like almost 5 foot long, 3 foot long, something like that. So it was way too big for model stuff. So I'm planning on getting a new one here in the near future. But now we're just doing our overspray mask. I don't know how some people airbrush without doing overspray masks. Now I don't go crazy and mask off the whole aircraft, but I do want to add in a little bit. And even then on the back I still did get a little bit of overspray. So with the insignia and the mission markings, I painted it with the insignia white, and now we're getting ready to mask off the stars for the national insignia. So after this, we're going to be painting it with the MRP sea blue. I know it's not insignia blue, it's not the right color, but you're going to see what we're going to do here in a little bit. It's not going to really matter on the color. We're going to blend it into the actual fuselage here in a second. But getting that masked off, and then got a couple other pieces to add in right here, and then we're going to pull off the stencil right there. Mark 1 eyeball did a good enough job for me, at least. And then, like I said, we're going to be using sea blue MRP 14. We got that painted and pulling everything off of it. Now, to me, the national insignia in color looks very strange on the black fuselage. So we're going to go in and mist over it, kind of blend it in. And you saw the mission markings right there. And now we're doing the hull number, the fuselage number in the back. So on a seaplane, is it called a hull or is it called a fuselage? Let me know down in the comments. As you can see there, it had a little bit of overspray with the white. Again, not a huge issue. We're going to get that fixed here in just a little bit once I finish pulling off the masking. Alright, so here we're pulling off the masking, and we run into a little bit of an issue that is a known issue with pulling masking tape off of chipping fluid. As you saw, it pulled off a massive chunk down the bottom. Luckily, that's an area that I wanted chipped anyways, so it's not that big of a deal. It's a little bit bigger than what I would like, but it's okay. Now we're going back with the main fuselage color with the jet black, and we're going to do just a couple light mist coats over everything, just kind of really blend it in. As you can see right there, that's how everything looks when it's blended in. Kind of gives that ghost effect on the fuselage. Alright, so that's everything for today on the Catalina. And as you can see, we got a lot of paint done with the mottling of the different shades of black, and then the final shade of black. And then we got the couple symbols painted on for the number, the national insignia, and also the mission markings as well. So up next week, I got to clear coat everything because we do have a few decals to put onto the fuselage, like the pinup girl, and then a couple other like stencil decals. But I'm very limited because a lot of the decals that came with the kit are meant for the tritone blue. So a lot of them are in blue. There are a few red ones like the Life Raft one and a couple others that I am going to put on, but the black ones I'm going to leave off because mainly they just painted over everything as far as I know on these Black Cat Catalinas. They didn't really reapply all the stencils to the aircraft. So next week, like I said, we're going to clear coat, get the last of the decals on, then clear coat it again. So that way the week after that we can start with the weathering, get the whole fuselage fully complete and done. And then we can start moving on to the wing. And when we get to the wing, we get to work on those res kit engine set, and then also with the floats and everything else going on the wing as well. So it's going to be also another massive undertaking with the wings as well. Not as bad as what the fuselage was. I don't think anything can be that bad. But it's still going to be a massive undertaking. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope you guys stick around for next week. We are getting closer and closer and closer to the end. The light at the end of the tunnel is almost visible for this build. So like I said, I hope you guys enjoy. I hope I see you guys next week. Thank you for watching. If you haven't yet, don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment down below. Hit the bell button for notifications of when I post future videos, like part 16 to the Catalina, or any of the other parts to any of the other 6 builds I have going on right now. So, that being said, thank you guys for watching, and until next time, I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you next time.